My child, I am so deeply proud of you. I want you to feel the warmth of that truth settle over you, not just for the big things you have accomplished, but for the quiet, unseen choices you have been making. I am pleased because I see the person you are becoming, moment by moment. Listen closely now, because I want to explain why these small things matter so much and what is unfolding in your life as a result. I am with you in every decision. I see you when you choose to be kind even when it is inconvenient. I hear you when you speak the truth, even when your voice shakes and silence would be far easier. I notice when you offer your presence to someone who is hurting, even when your own spirit feels weary. You might think these actions are insignificant, lost in the noise of the world, but they are everything to me. Every time you choose courage over fear, every time you nurture a spark of hope in a dark place, every time you decide to begin again after a stumble, you see it all. Do not ever believe that your efforts are wasted or that your love disappears into an empty void. That is a lie. I gather every one of those acts and hold them close. They are like precious seeds planted in the richest soil, and they are destined to grow into something more beautiful than you can yet comprehend. Please release yourself from the adult's way of measuring value. Your worth is not determined by applause, by social media likes, or by how quickly your dreams materialize. True value is not found in speed or spectacle. Your worth is a constant, an unchangeable truth about who you are. It does not rise or fall based on yesterday's successes or tomorrow's plans. It is rooted in your very being, in the soul I created. Let this knowledge sink deep into your bones. When doubt whispers that you are not enough, return to this quiet certainty. You are hailed. You are cherished. You are more than enough exactly as you are. Understand that your life moves in seasons, each with its own purpose and rhythm. There are bright seasons filled with joy and easy laughter, and there are quieter, slower seasons meant for deep learning and growth. During a season of inner growth, you might not see the roots spreading far beneath the surface. In a season of waiting, you may not yet see the flower about to bloom. Have faith in the natural rhythm I have woven into the fabric of existence. There is a time for everything. There is a time to push forward and a time to be still. There is a time for speaking out and a time for quiet listening. Your task is to learn to sense the season you are in. If you try to force the pace of one season while you are in another, you will miss the unique gifts it has to offer. When you feel disoriented or lost, remember the small, steady compass eye placed within you. It is your conscience, that simple inner sense of what is right and what is wrong. It is the quiet voice that urges you toward gentleness and integrity. This voice is your truest guide. The world is full of loud voices, voices that make tempting promises, that pass harsh judgments, and that sow fear, pushing you to protect yourself by diminishing others. Learn to tune them out and listen instead to that quiet guide inside you. It will never lead you astray. It will always ask you to choose what heals, to give what you can, and to seek truth, even when it demands a sacrifice. I want you to discover the freedom that comes through forgiveness. Forgiveness is a doorway I urge you to walk through, not because what happened in the past was acceptable, but because holding on to bitterness will poison your own heart. Forgiveness does not mean you must pretend that pain did not occur or that a wrong did not matter. It simply means you refuse to let anger and resentment take root in the sacred ground of your heart, where love and peace are meant to grow. Forgive others as best you can, and just as importantly, learn to forgive yourself. There are places within you that feel broken or unworthy, places where shame has kept you small and hidden. Bring my light into those spaces. Let the warm, steady truth of my unconditional love for you heal those wounds. When you forgive, you create space for new life, new hope, and new beginnings to enter. Embrace humility, not as a sign of weakness, but as the very foundation of genuine strength. True growth begins when you can admit that you do not have all the answers. When you allow others to teach you, when you are open to receiving help, you expand your world. Pride builds walls and keeps you isolated, preventing you from learning. Humility, on the other hand, builds bridges and invites connection. It allows you to truly see and connect with the people you meet. Be humble enough to say, "I was wrong," and be brave enough to change your direction when you realize you are on the wrong path. There is immense power in that simple, honest act. Pay close attention to the way you speak to yourself. Your words are not just sounds. They are creative forces that shape your inner world. If your internal dialogue is harsh and critical, your entire life will be tinged with fear and anxiety. But if you learn to speak to yourself with kindness and compassion, you will build an inner reservoir of resilience and hope. Practice speaking to yourself with the same patience and love that I speak to you now. When you make a mistake, instead of punishing yourself, say, "I did my best with what I knew. I learned from this. I will try again." This is not a hollow platitude. It is the language of healing and growth. Love with courage. Love is not a passive feeling. It is an active choice. Sometimes love means staying and working through difficulties when you would rather run. And sometimes love means having the courage to leave a situation that is causing harm to your soul. Love means speaking the truth, both softly and fiercely when needed. True love gives others the space to grow. It does not seek to control them with chains. It is a daily commitment. You will be tempted to love only what is easy, to love only those who return your affection in the exact way you expect. I encourage you to choose a wider, more expansive way of loving. Love people even when they are challenging. Offer your compassion to those who may not even know how to ask for it. At the same time, be clear about your boundaries. Loving fiercely does not mean you must tolerate abuse or disrespect. Sometimes, the most loving act is to say no, to protect your well-being and the well-being of others. Do not be afraid of your own feelings. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers carrying important information. When you feel angry, ask yourself what injustice needs to be addressed or what boundary needs to be protected. When you feel sad, ask what part of you needs comfort and mending. When you feel joy, receive it fully with gratitude and let it fill you up. Learn to allow your feelings to pass through you without letting them take over and build a permanent home. Acknowledge them, learn from their messages, but do not let them be the sole driver of your decisions. Balance your feelings with reason and with faith in the path that has brought you to where you are today. You will face crosses in your life, but instead feel far too heavy for you to carry alone. I will not always remove the burden from you, for sometimes it is in the carrying that you discover your true strength. But I promise you this, I will always walk beside you. I will give you the strength you need to carry it. In the darkest nights of your soul, when hope feels like a distant, flickering candle, remember that I am closer to you than your own breath. When you feel you cannot take another step, just take one. Then take the next. Endurance has its own quiet rhythm, a present, patient, persistent. There is a profound reward in not giving up. Remember, sometimes the miracle of deliverance is not a change in your circumstances, but a change in your heart that allows you to face them with peace. That is a miracle of the highest order. Let your work be a reflection of your integrity. Honesty in small matters builds the foundation for honesty in greater ones. Do not take shortcuts that compromise your character or empty your spirit. When you perform your work with honesty and care, your hands are building more than just a project. They are building character. Support those who work alongside you. Share credit where it is due. Make room for others who are still learning. Your life is a story that others are reading. Let it be one of honor and integrity. Cultivate a daily practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just for grand blessings. It is for the small, everyday gifts as well. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of a good meal, the sound of a loved one's laughter, the quiet stillness of the early morning. Gratitude fundamentally shifts your perspective. When you practice it consistently, you begin to notice the steady, underlying current of goodness that flows through your life, even in difficult times. If it helps, keep a list or speak your thanks aloud. This practice will become an anchor for your heart, keeping you steady in times of storm. Be brave enough to speak the truth, even when it is unpopular. But always speak that truth with respect, never with the intention to wound. Let your words be bridges that connect people, not weapons that divide them. Learn the wisdom of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Sometimes, silence is the most compassionate response, especially when words would only add fuel to a fire. A gentle, clear, and timely word has the power to change the course of a person's life. Seek out and build community. You are not created to navigate this life alone. Find people who will love you even when you are foolish, who will gently correct you when you go astray, who will genuinely celebrate your successes, and who will mourn with you in your losses, and in turn, give back to that community. Offer your time, your presence, and your honest listening. Remember to tend to your own well-being so that you can continue to give. Do not pour from an empty cup. Rest is not a luxury or a sign of laziness. It is an act of responsible stewardship. Your body, mind, and soul all require rest to remain healthy and fruitful. Take care of the beautiful earth I have given you. This world is not merely a collection of resources for you to consume. It is a sacred home to be cherished and protected. Plant a tree. Help keep the waters clean. Teach the children who come after you to respect and love the creatures of the fields. When you care for even a small piece of the world, you are participating in a vast and ancient act of mercy. The health of the earth is deeply connected to the health of your own soul. Make an effort to listen to people who are different from you. They hold perspectives that will stretch your mind and enlarge your heart. When you assume you already know everything, you slam the door on the possibility of growth and learning. Ask genuine questions. Be curious without passing judgment. If you seek it with an open heart, you will almost always find common ground. This world is wonderfully diverse, and every single person carries a piece of the truth that you have not yet seen. Learn from the wisdom of your elders and share what you have learned with the young. Together, across generations, you will weave a tapestry of life far richer than any one of you could create alone. Be mindful of where you place your hope. If you anchor your hope in things that are temporary, such as wealth, public approval, or physical comfort, you will find your foundation to be fragile and easily shaken. Instead, set your hope on things that are eternal: kindness, justice, love, strong relationships, and work that serves others. These are treasures that time cannot erode. Hope that is anchored in goodwill and steady, faithful action will be the anchor that holds you firm when the storms of life come. When fear pays you a visit, acknowledge it, but do not allow it to become the ruler of your house. Fear is a natural instinct meant to protect you, but it can become distorted and magnified by the negative stories you tell yourself. Name your fear. Speak to it directly. Ask it, are you trying to protect me from a real danger? Or are you just keeping me from living a full life? Use wisdom to take small, reasonable steps forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act in spite of it. Stand with others who are afraid. Offer them your steady hand. Sometimes your courage will be the light that helps guide another person through their own darkness. Live a life of generosity. Generosity has a transformative power that blesses both the giver and the receiver. And remember, generosity is about more than just money. You can be generous with your time, your full attention, your mercy, and your forgiveness. Give without expecting anything in return. When you give freely from the heart, notice how your own heart seems to expand. This is not a trick. It is a profound spiritual truth. The more you open your hands to give, the more your heart is able to hold. Let go of the need to control every person and every outcome. The desire for control is almost always a mask for deep-seated fear. Release your grip on the things you cannot change. Instead, invest your precious energy in the things you can influence. Your own words, your own actions, your own choices. There is tremendous freedom in surrendering the things that are outside of your hands. Surrender is not the same as giving up. It is about redirecting your strength toward what truly matters. Learn to celebrate the small victories along your path. You will achieve great things not in one giant leap, but through a long series of tiny, faithful steps. Each morning that you choose hope over despair, each conversation where you practice patience instead of judgment, each moment you refuse to let negativity make you small. Those are all victories. Acknowledge them. Celebrate them. They are the quiet but essential scaffolding upon which a beautiful and well-lived life is built. Teach forgiveness by your own example. When leaders in a community forgive, that community begins to heal. When forgiveness is practiced in a family, children learn what it means to trust. When friends forgive each other, their relationship deepens. You will not always be forgiven in return, and that will be painful. But forgiveness plants the seeds of healing, whether or not you see them sprout immediately. Keep planting those seeds anyway. Be honest about your own mistakes. Shame loves to hide in the darkness where it festers and weakens you. Confession and honesty bring everything into the light where healing and release can happen. It is a sign of immense bravery to stand in the truth of your own imperfections and ask for help to do better. When you do this, you open the door for reconciliation and for a fresh start. Never stop learning. The world is vast and full of wonder. Read books, talk to wise people, try new skills. Your mind and your heart were designed for continuous growth. Curiosity is a vital sign of a soul that is truly alive. Stay humble enough to know that you do not know everything, and stay wise enough to keep seeking what is true, good, and beautiful. Hold fast to justice. This world desperately needs people who will stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves. Speak out when you witness unfairness. Use your influence, no matter how small you think it is, to protect the vulnerable. Justice administered with mercy is the work that is closest to my own heart. But do not confuse the pursuit of justice with the desire for vengeance. Always seek restoration, not revenge. The ultimate goal is always healing. When you encounter disappointment, do not allow it to become a prison that you build around your heart. Disappointment is a powerful teacher. It asks you to examine your expectations, to reframe your perspective, and to try again with newfound wisdom. Allow your disappointments to soften you, to make you gentler, more patient, and more understanding of the struggles of others. Do not let them harden your heart. Let prayer be a genuine conversation, not just a rote habit. Prayer is a sacred space for honesty, for asking, for thanking, and for listening. You do not need eloquent words. Speak to me simply from your heart. Tell me your joys, your fears, your hopes. Then sit in the silence and listen. Sometimes the answer will come as a gentle wave of peace. Other times it will be a quiet whisper of wisdom. Prayer is the thread that connects you to what matters most. Remember and honor those who came before you. Learn from their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. Their lives are woven into the fabric of your own story. When you remember them with gratitude, you build deep roots beneath your feet. These roots will hold you steady when the winds of change and adversity blow. Finally, be a peacemaker. A conflict is an inevitable part of life, but so is reconciliation. Actively seek the paths that lead to harmony and understanding. Teach others how to disagree respectfully without dehumanizing one another. When you work to make peace, do not pretend that hurt did not happen. True, lasting peace acknowledges the pain and then works patiently through it toward healing. This is the kind of transformative peace I call you to bring into this world. Come closer, my child, and listen with that quiet part of your soul that still remembers what is true. I am speaking to you now not to frighten you or to weigh you down with impossible burdens. I am speaking to open a window in your heart to let the light pour in. You have often asked about your purpose, sometimes through a sense of longing, sometimes through a feeling of restlessness, and sometimes through that deep ache that can wake you in the middle of the night. I know that ache. I placed it within you not as a punishment, but as a 𝐆𝐎𝐃, a gentle tug pulling you toward what truly matters. Your purpose is not one single, grand thing that you must find and possess like a trophy. Instead, your purpose is the beautiful pattern that emerges when you weave love and truth into the fabric of your everyday life. It is found in the small, ordinary tasks just as much as it is found in moments of great courage. Think of your purpose as a river. You do not have to create the river or force its direction. You only need to learn how to step into its current, to float with awareness, to steer when necessary, and to appreciate the journey as it unfolds. The world may tell you that purpose looks like fame, power, or flawless achievement. That is not the measure I use. I measure the quiet faithfulness of your choices. I measure the way you treat the people I place in your path. I measure your courage to act in a way that affirms life. At the core of everything, you were made to love and to be loved. When you live from that fundamental truth, your life naturally becomes a gift to others and a blessing to yourself. Living a life of purpose does not mean you must erase yourself. True love asks you to find a healthy balance between giving and receiving, between service and rest. When you give from a place of abundance, gratitude, and genuine care, your giving heals. But when you give out of a need for approval or to fill your own emptiness, the gift becomes a burden to both you and the receiver. Your life is not an isolated line. It is part of an intricate web, and every strand touches countless others. The kindness you show, the patience you offer, the truth you speak, those things ripple out in ways you will never fully see. Trust in this beautiful mystery. Work to make others happy, not as a performance, but as a sincere practice. Happiness is a climate you help create. Be the person who offers a cool word to soothe the heat of anger. Be the one who provides shelter for someone caught in a storm. Be the one who notices others, who learns the small details of their lives. These small attentions are the secret language of love. You were made with a unique combination of gifts and weaknesses. Your gifts are not meant to be hoarded. They are meant to be shared and multiplied. Use what you have to help others rise. Do not compare your gifts to anyone else's. A single, clear voice can change a nation, just as a single, steady hand can save a life. There is no small service in my kingdom. To love well, you must also know yourself and honor your own needs. Saying no is not a refusal of love. Sometimes it is the truest act of love for yourself and for others, as it preserves the balance that allows you to continue giving from a healthy place. Let your daily work, whatever it may be a form of worship. Do it with care, with honesty, and with attention to the people it will affect. Teach the children who come after you how to serve, how to give, and how to love. Model it for them in your daily actions. I do not ask you to make everyone happy at the expense of what is right. When you must choose between a false peace and an honest struggle toward what is just, choose the honest struggle. I am with you in every step. I celebrate you when you succeed. I help you up when you fall. I am sharpening you into a person whose very presence brings healing, whose work brings blessing, and whose life reflects the incredible love that brought you into being. Go now and live in this beautiful rhythm of giving and receiving. Let your days be a chorus of kindness, your hands be instruments of mercy, and your heart be a home where others can find rest. You are so deeply beloved. Use your precious life to make other lives a little brighter. That, my child, is the purpose I have set before you. Amen.